Hello, everyone. In this session, we'll be exploring a tool that makes artificial intelligence something that sounds intimidating, surprisingly fun and accessible. It's called Teachable Machine, and by the end of the day, you'll not only understand how it works, but you'll also have the chance to create your own working AI project from scratch. Here's our plan for today. First, we'll introduce Teachable Machine, what it is, and why it's a game changer for beginners. Next, we'll look at something called block-based machine learning, which is the magic that makes it so user-friendly. Then, we'll define a real-world problem, walk you through our creative solution, and finally, my favorite part, building time, where you'll actually train your own AI model and see it work instantly. Let's start with something relatable. We all spend hours scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. But what if, just for a minute, we swap that scrolling time for building something fun? Training a model might sound complicated, but you'll see today that it's actually very doable. And honestly, it's a lot cooler than just watching cat videos. So how does training a machine learning model actually work? In classical machine learning, the process is a bit like baking a complicated cake from scratch. First, you'll carefully select your ingredients. In ML terms, this is feature selection. Then, you spend a long time preparing, cleaning, and organizing your data so it's usable. Next, you choose the recipe, the machine learning algorithm that will turn your raw ingredients into a finished cake. Finally, you follow the recipe step by step. This is the training phase, until you end up with a cake, or in our case, a trained model. The catch? This can be slow, technical, and frustrating. Teachable Machine simplifies this dramatically. You will start with data, images, sounds, or poses you want the computer to recognize, but the platform takes care of the complicated coding for you. Behind the scenes, a machine learning algorithm is doing all the pattern finding, and the final product you get is your machine learning model, your cake, ready to serve. Here's a reality. While the idea of training a model sounds cool, traditional training sessions can be painfully boring. Imagine waiting for hours, watching progress bars crawl across the screen while the computer runs endless calculations. And it's not just boring, it's challenging. You often need thousands of examples to get decent results. You have to understand complex algorithms, and you need powerful hardware to do it quickly. This is why beginners give up before they even see their first working model. But what if training a model could feel more like a quick creative project than a stressful assignment? That's where Teachable Machine comes in. It removes the intimidating parts, the heavy coding, the massive datasets, and lets you focus on the fun part, teaching the machine what you want it to know. Think of it like going from hand sewing your clothes to using a sewing machine. You still design it, but the hard labor is handled for you. Teachable Machine is a free, web-based tool from Google that lets anyone train an AI model directly in the browser. You don't have to install anything, you don't have to code, and you can teach it to recognize images like different animals, foods, or objects, sounds like clapping, whistling, or specific words, poses like standing, waving, or doing a jumping jack. The three main types of models you can train are image model, works with pictures or camera input, audio model, listens and recognizes different sounds, pose model, detects body positions and movements. The variety means you can create anything from a fun dance game to a voice-activated app to a cooking assistant that recognizes ingredients. In short, Teachable Machine is your beginner-friendly gateway into AI. It's built on block-based machine learning, which means instead of writing hundreds of lines of codes, you work visually, connecting blocks that each represent a step in the process. Block-based machine learning is like building a puzzle, where each piece has a specific function. One block might say collect data, another might say train model. When you arrange them in the right order, you've built a full AI workflow. It's the same core logic that professional data scientists use. just presented in a beginner-friendly drag and drop format. Think of it like Lego. You have blocks for data, blocks for training, and blocks for testing. Arrange them, and you've built your own machine learning structure. All right, now for today's project. What are we going to create together? Here's a hint. It's something we all love. Food. We're going to create a model that recognizes different types of dishes. We're calling it the Cultural Cuisine Classifier, a model that identifies traditional dishes from around the world, combining tech with culture. Here's the heartwarming part. Imagine your grandpa has Alzheimer's and sometimes forgets the names of his favorite foods. Our model could help him instantly recognize them, reconnecting him with memories. And the best part? We can make this with no complex coding, just images and a few clicks. So let's roll up our sleeves and begin. Once I had the idea, I went into full focus mode, totally locked in, like this monkey here. Let's break down the process into small, simple steps. Our two key stages: input block, where we give examples, and training block, where the machine learning algorithm learns from them. Think of the input block like a pantry before cooking. We gather and label all our ingredients so we know exactly what we're working with. Each class is a category, like pizza or sushi. The model studies the examples in each class so it can spot the difference later. Training is like a chef practicing, making mistakes at first, then improving with each attempt until the dish comes out perfect. Here's where the machine learning algorithm gets to work. It looks for patterns, color, texture, shape, and builds a set of rules in its memory. The end result is our trained machine learning model. Three controls guide the learning. Epochs, how many times the model studies all your data. Batch size, how many samples it processes at a time. Learning rate, the size of each adjustment it makes while learning. All right, find 300 images of dishes in 10 minutes. Sounds intense, right? Just kidding, we don't need that many. Teachable Machine can do wonders with just 10 to 15 images per class. That's possible thanks to transfer learning. Transfer learning means using a model that's already learned from millions of examples and teaching it your specific task, like giving a chef a new recipe instead of teaching them how to cook from scratch. Now it's your turn. Scan the QR code and start building your own AI model.